guys, this is my first video, so I'm really excited to show you guys how to make some super cute watermelon coasters. I had a lot of requests when I posted the photos of them yesterday to show you how, so I'm trying to figure this out, so just work with me. We start off definitely with our resin. For most kinds of resins, it's a 1-to-1 ratio by volume, so not by weight. So I have these neat little cups I'm trying to show you that have the ounce markings, so you can easily just pour, know exactly how much you put in, and then do the second one. You want to mix it slowly for a couple of minutes to make sure it is well mixed. You will be able to see that there's no streaks because one is heavier or denser, I think, than the other one, and so it can leave streaks if it's not properly mixed. You'll see there are bubbles. I'll show you my tips to get those out as well. Alright, what I've done is I have separated my resin. I did 2 ounces of each A and B, and then I separated it out into these little Dixie cups that I use when I do color. I don't do color in these cups because I don't want it to leak or stain, because I do reuse these cups because they're nice and plastic and the resin comes right out when it's hard. The Dixie cups I just toss afterwards. So I'm mixing it up. You want to mix it up again, and you can kind of see in here that a lot of the bubbles have dissipated, just giving it time. They will go away on their own, and then it is easier as well once they're in smaller cups to be sure to get them out. So this one I have added just the Pinata Blanco to make it a nice creamy kind of white. And then here I have my pink, and I added the pink Pinata as well, and then I added some red mica powder to give it a little bit of a fuller, deeper shade. So once it mixes in, you'll see it's a nice, beautiful pink red color. And you can see on the cup back here, this part that stains the cup, it really won't be added into the resin, unfortunately, which is why I don't like to put it in the plastic reusable cups. And then the green Pinata alcohol ink always looks a little extra blue to me, so I like to add in some lime green mica powder. You can see that here, and you just add just a little bit at first. You can always add more, but you know, you can't take it away. So it gives it a nice full deep shade, plus, you know, those watermelon kind of green, kind of dark green. So there we go. And then what I have set up over here is I've got my mold, and I have all my colors ready to go to make it easy, because this is kind of a fast project that you want to do. My table, actually my floor, is not level, so I have this sitting on a couple popsicle stirrers. Oh, and before I forget, I always leave a little extra resin in here just in case I run out of white or I run out of green or something. I have a little bit more that I can use if I need to. And so with these guys, for some coasters you can do it a little bit differently, but for the watermelon, because you want to have defined layers of the green, the white, and the pink, I like to do one coaster at a time. So I'll start with the pink. And I pour it part way, you can see, and then I'll come back with the white and leave a little gap so that it can keep spreading. And then come in quickly with the green. And you'll see that it's not fully filling in, so then you can come back, but then at least you have your layers started. so that nothing spreads too far. And then just repeat. Make sure it gets into all the corners so you don't come up with some wonky looking thing. And then you can see that this one has, let me zoom in. This one has like a couple white lines as the mold, as it keeps kind of shifting and flowing and leveling out, those will kind of spread out a little bit more. So I'm going to pause this and I'm going to finish up these so I can show you the next steps. They're not fully finished, but I do want to show you one technique that I found that's helpful. You can see on this back one that it's not fully filling in. They do have a lot of green, so I don't really want to add more green if I can help it. So I take my pink and I pour in a little bit more. You can just scrape it right off. And then you can push it. And so I really want that pink color to come through a lot more. So you can see I'm just pushing the pink, and just because it's a fluid, it is moving back so that it fills out the mold. I am going to use a little bit more of my reserve just to make sure I'm filling it in, and it's going to be a thick one. Bubbles. So bubbles, you can kind of see these spots on this guy and this guy where it's a little bit lighter. Those are micro bubbles. So you can do a lot of things. Some people use a heating mat. Some people say to heat up the resin, one of the parts. I'm not quite sure which. I don't do any of that. I just use a toothpick and I go through and just pop the bubbles. Now that works for some of the big bubbles, but it doesn't work for all the bubbles. What I find, you know, there's a couple different schools of thought. The top of this mold is actually going to be the bottom of the coaster. And the reason for that is it always leaves a little lip along the side. So you could leave them. You won't see them a whole lot in a colored resin. Now in something like this that's clear, you can definitely see the bubbles. And unfortunately I miss those. See that bubble here? I miss those because my mold is white and I did not see them. So I didn't pop them. So you can leave them, you can take them out, whatever you want to do. The other thing I like to do is after it's been sitting for a while, I'll take a little massager like this. I think we got it at the drugstore, and I'll just set it on my table nearby, and the vibration of it will help bring the bubbles to the top so that you can get rid of them. One last thing before I let these cure for a few hours and we come back is in this mold you can also see that there are some bubbles. Let me try and zoom in. Oh, you can see some bubbles along the side. So when you're doing a mold, you can, especially like a coaster mold, you can go along the side and just with a toothpick kind of do the edge. And I'll do that once with these, and it helps to get no bubbles along the sides. The biggest thing that you want to remember is when you're doing a coaster where you want to edge it. Now I apologize, that's a little, there we go, now you can see it. So these are a geode coaster I made a while back, where I did a edging pin, and then I also edged the sides to give them that gold sheen. That I had forgotten to do the sides. I'm trying to see if this will show you. Nope, I apologize. But there's holes in it, so there's bubbles, so it's harder to fill in with the edging pin. Now with these watermelon, as you know, you know, it's a fruit, it's natural. There's going to be some holes, especially in a watermelon. So I feel like it gives a little bit more of a natural look. Plus, again, you can't really see it on these unless you are specifically looking for it. I think that these guys came out great, so that's why I'm doing them again. And I'm gonna let it cure for a while. I do come back every couple hours, especially with the massager, just to try and get those bubbles up so that you can pop them. And then the other thing that you can do is blow hot air onto them. Some people use a heat gun. I have a hair dryer and I do it on the lowest air setting and the highest temperature. The only issue is with any kind of heat gun, hair dryer, it'll blow your design. So it'll stretch it out a little bit. So you want to be careful with that. I find that with an intricate design or something that you don't want to move a whole lot, like these with the fine lines, I find that just blowing hot air from your mouth onto them works. You do have to get really close, so hold your hair back, tie up, you know, whatever you need, take your glasses off so it doesn't fall in, anything like that. And real quick, especially in this one, you can see that the white is a little less prevalent than I would like. Now again, you have to remember that what you see on top is going to be the bottom of the coaster, but you can always come back and just do another line. Just to give it that more defined feel. And then you can take your stir stick, if you get multiple lines, and push it back, just to help it look a little bit more normal and natural. So again, I'm going to let these cure. I'm going to pop some bubbles, and then we will be back. I'll show you the seeds after it cures. Alright. Alright, hey guys, it's me again. We are back. It's been about 7 hours of curing, and now again, remember with the Envirotex, it's a soft cure, so still nice and bendy, but look at how cute these are. So this is them without seeds. Of course, you can choose if you want to do white or black seeds or no seeds. You could also do cute little vinyl sayings. I thought about like summer vibes, but for this one, again, I just wanted to make it pretty simple. So I've got my seeds that I've already cut on my vinyl. It's going to be kind of hard to see, but they are there. My husband was using my weeding tool, so I'm just going to use an X-Acto knife, and I'm just going to show you a couple of them. You can place them however you want, but again, the top of the mold that I'm touching is going to actually be the bottom. So just, you know, however many you want. If you want to do 2, cool. If you want to do 12, also cool. You can have them in like a shape. I just like to kind of put them around. You can also kind of do it systematically if you're going to put feet on your coaster, so that it's not just touching your table. So you could theoretically put one down and then put your little plastic foot on top of it, so you see it less when you're looking up from above. I'll show you what those look like in just a second. But again, yeah, they came out super cute, just like last time. I think that I like these colors that came out even a little bit more than the ones from yesterday. This is the one from yesterday. It's more kind of pinkish, purplish hued. And then here will be the finished coaster for today. I think I might add one more seed just to kind of level it out. Again, with it being so bendy, what we're going to do, because it is a soft cure at 8 hours and a full cure at 24, what I'm going to do so that I can make more is just take them out. Doesn't matter how you take them out right away. I'm just going to take them out though and leave them on a safe flat space. This way they can continue to harden, but I can also reuse my mold as soon as possible. Of course, if it's gooey, definitely leave it in. Sometimes it'll have little bits on the edge. You can just take and cut those off or rip them off, whatever works best for you. And then I've got the little feet that I'm just gonna stick on. I found these guys online as well. They're just little adhesive dots. So you can, I think 4, you know, and you'll get a good stable surface. I do 2 on the corners and then 1 on top and 1 on bottom. And that's what I was saying. If you wanted to systematically place them so you have a dot on each of the seeds, you could do that. But with a colored one, you really can't see them all that much. Once it's on a surface, you can kind of see this one, but that's about the only one. So it's up to you with however you want to do those. And that's it. That's all it takes. They're pretty easy. The hardest part is just waiting, honestly. But I think they came out great. And stay tuned for more videos. Again, please like and subscribe. Oh, before I forget, if you do put the feet on it before it's finished with the hard cure, be sure to turn them all upside down. That way they stay flat. Because otherwise the middle of this guy is going to drape. We don't want that. So let it do a hard cure on a flat surface upside down, so that they look great. All right, well, I'll talk to you guys later.